And good morning, everyone. Welcome to Storm Talk on this alert day, which I'll explain the reasoning on that coming up in a second. Oh, there you go, Marianne. I'll get you in there. Thanks, Marianne. Appreciate that. Appreciate all your comments, guys, this morning. On this Monday morning, soggy one at that. It is about 34 minutes after 9 if you're watching this live right now. You're welcome to Storm Talk. Now, we do have a setup still that we're going to be watching for this afternoon, but it's a highly conditional one. I'll explain in just a few moments, but hopefully you had a good weekend. Overall, the weekend storms weren't too bad. Saturdays was a little rough. That cell that popped in around 11 o'clock, 12 o'clock, midday on Saturday did have quite the kick to it, quite the lightning show with it as well, and some wind and even some small hail. And that was really the highlight of the weekend for a lot of you. The storms yesterday weren't terribly bad. They were more just annoying than anything, and some of you didn't see any rain at all. Totally understand that. So it's one of those weekends, as we thought it would play out to be, just a mix between hot and sunny, and at times some getting thunderstorms, but hopefully it didn't interrupt your plans too bad. This morning, the heavy rain threat came through. We're not seeing some of the totals in the Louisville area that some of the modeling, say on Friday when I was talking to you guys, were showing up, where we could see more than 2 inches of rain. We're under the 1 inch mark in the city, but some are over 2 inches just outside the city limits, depending on where you're at. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to walk you guys through the entire setup for this morning, explain that, and why we will likely continue the alert day for now as we head into later on this afternoon. All right, let's start with the latest on the radar view, and you can see this MCS or blob of rain that came through this morning, exiting fairly quickly to the east. Another reason why we're not seeing excessively high totals is it's moving. It's still raining at 2.25 inches per hour, but you're not getting that full hour in some areas of that rate, and therefore we're not seeing those totals reach that limit. I'm not complaining. It's a good thing. It's moving along. It's already caused problems just with the amount of rain we had. We've had traffic jams slam up, especially across Hardin County, where you guys have exceeded 2 inches of rain in that area. FedEx truck caused it's crashed there, caused a major backup. It's still ongoing, by the way, in 64 or 65, down to the south. But we're still dealing with the rain moving to the east. But look to the west, not as much rain. So, of course, now the next question will be whether or not we get any sunshine coming our way. Wider view shows how we've got the spin of the low pressure across areas of Iowa into Illinois. That is the core of the system. The front is right through here. So until it passes, we're not in the clear. However, we've got still some cloud cover kind of thrown in the mix here just east of the front. So will that hold, or will it begin to thin out and we end up with some sunshine? That will be the fuel, obviously, for the next run of storms. More on that coming up in just a second, because that is going to be key as we end up later on for this afternoon. All right, let's talk about rain totals real quick. Here's a look at the rain just from last night, this morning. You can see where the system came in. Anywhere that is showing in yellow, indicating more than 2 inches of rain fell. You certainly see that across portions of Utah. Let me back that up. Sorry about that. Let me zoom in a little closer to that. And you can see right there into E-Town. E-Town's over 2 inches now. We've got some spots west of Cordon at that level, some closer to 3, as in parts there of Breckenridge County. Louisville in general, and the totals there I was looking at, I know my house is about 0.39, 0.4, I believe, at my house now into southern Jefferson. So that's, I think the average is about a quarter to half inch. I would say half inch is probably going to be the main total we're going to see for the Louisville Metro with this particular round. But we're not done. One more chance, and then we're done for a while, which is a good thing, right? Everyone needs a break, especially meteorologists. We're ready for it. This afternoon, though, is key on the severe risk that comes our way. You see, here's the fuel. We don't have much out there now, but it does try to bring fuel back into the area as we head into about 3 or 4 o'clock. It builds it up. Certainly more fuel into East Kentucky than we will have here. That's important to note. Certainly that's the trend that I think the outlook will take from the Storm Prediction Center. Let me show you where the outlook is now. And at the moment, the severe risk is limited to just around Jefferson County and Point C. So let me zoom in a little more. It's right there into, I would say, Fern Creek, Highview, the airport area, off to the south and east. I think this is placed well right now. What is likely to happen, and you're about to see, is the afternoon round. We are seeing some sun come out to the west. We'll see if it increases an amount of sunshine. But as we try to get some sun, storms will begin to pop this afternoon, roughly late afternoon, 5, 6 o'clock. And then through the 7 o'clock window, they will move across southern Indiana and central Kentucky. As they do so, they will cross a potential boundary, if you will. Like they get to a point where they formed and they have enough time to grow and scale to become strong, if not even severe. By the time that happens, they will likely gain some real estate and head more east. So the thinking on this is that by the time they head east and get to the point of being severe, they will be in Kentucky and out of Indiana at that point, and could even be out of wave country and be more toward eastern Kentucky before we have to worry about that. That is possible. If that is the trend we see, that we just get general thunderstorms that start off as babies, basically, and slowly are growing through the area, but are likely not to become severe as they pass through the area, then we can take the alert day completely out. And that may happen later on this afternoon. We may do that. Because the trend right now is certainly East Kentucky has got much more of a threat than we do. We're just in that iffy zone of where they develop. Will they develop enough as they pass through to produce severe weather? That's always a tough call to make this early in the game until we know exactly where they're going to form and, of course, how much heating they will have to work with. All right, you can see those rain totals we had to the north. All right, so let me show you the future cast. I'm going to advance this to about 4 this afternoon. As we do so, the morning round of rain that you just saw, gone. So now we've got a partly sunny sky that's developing. This is another one of those days where the sun is bad sun. Sun's bad. Here's the front. Storms right here is where they would likely at least try to pop after 4 p.m. You'll see that form right there along. You see a few cells in southern Indiana and right along the Ohio River. I'm not ruling out these could grow fast enough to become severe. I'm not ruling it out. I'm just saying that the trend is for them to have to grow in size to get to that level, but there is a chance they could grow faster than what is indicated, and therefore we would go right into a severe risk rapidly for this afternoon. So that's the reason why we're going to look at this closely, and that's why we're not taking the alert day out yet. We need to evaluate that part first because I want to make sure you guys are aware of that and don't get caught off guard thinking, oh, well, that was it this morning, and that was the rain. It's over. We're good, right? Not entirely. We've got to get the cold front through, then we're good. And that's not going to happen to you until we get to sunset tonight. Once the front passes your area, we'll begin to clear everyone. So hopefully we can clear much of Indiana before sunset. We won't be able to clear our Kentucky counties probably until just after sunset, but they will rapidly move to the east. And look what happens in East Kentucky. These are the nasty ones. These are the ones that can produce damaging winds, hail, and even some tornadoes in the mountains of East Kentucky all the way down in Tennessee. That's the main line of the day and the one that will get the most attention, to be honest with you, nationally. A lot of the national weather outlets will likely cover that event, not so much what we'll have to face here as they initially grow into the Ohio River Valley. And then they'll push off to the east. And then we get into tomorrow. The only thing about tomorrow, it's a classic almost autumn type setup where you get the batch of cold air, but you can't get cold air in August above your head and a warm ground that still heats up without something happening here. And that's the case. We're going to get stratocumulus that are going to form, and that's going to produce showers. A lot of clouds and some spotty light showers will begin to pop in the afternoon tomorrow. But the thing is, there will be so many clouds around, and the wind flow will be from the north. It'll be a little breezy out. Some of you may be barely above 70 for a high temperature tomorrow. It is going to be an autumn field type of day on your Tuesday. It's going to get everyone in the spirit of that. But there will be at least a chance for a spotty shower here and there just because it's not balanced out right. The atmosphere is not quite handling the idea of a cool pocket of air like this in August. So this is fully normal. This is what to expect, and it makes sense. Once that fades and we get into sunset, because that's all heat-based. So once the sun gets lower in the sky, not only will the showers fade, the cloud cover will begin to fade, and then whenever the clearing sky. Now, the only issue with that, as you can see there, that gray, that's fog. It will be foggy as we head into Tuesday night and Wednesday morning, but it will be, I don't want to say chilly for August maybe, but it won't be chilly. Will somebody turn the heat on in the car? Probably, because it will be pretty much widespread 50s for overnight lows, or 50s when you get in the car to go to work on Wednesday. Here in the city, right around 60 looks to be the low temperature. And then we'll begin to bounce back up. And boy, do we, because after this, we really begin to crank up the heat, unfortunately. It's not a rapid jump in the heat. It's just going to be each and every day. We're going to add several degrees to the thermometer as we head into Thursday, Friday, Saturday, the weekend here. Now we're getting into the 90s are now pushing into wave country at this point over the weekend. But also keep an eye on Florida. Look at that little feature. That's a sneaky tropical wave there that's over here now that is going to, for the first time this season, the wind flow actually matches the idea of pulling something through the Gulf of Mexico. So because we heat up, it's going to sneak in. So this is good news. Texas and Louisiana may actually get some decent rain. I don't think they're going to get a huge storm right now, but it will at least aim toward them to give them rainfall. Meanwhile, for us, the 90s will take over, and you see how that system snuck into Texas while the heat builds here. Are we going to go as high as some of the modeling? Likely not. We still got a very green environment. Some of the modeling is going like 110 for highs into next week. No, not buying that. I think we're going to average close to our max level that we can do typically with a green ground, and that's roughly a 95, 96 degree type setup, but 95, 96 for several days. So this is probably going to be the most, we've had heat waves before this season, but the most long-lasting mid-90s heat wave we've had, potentially showing up here that may get locked in. Now, eventually there are signs this may get knocked down as we head later into the month. These fronts will keep trying to beat onto it and try to get it away from us and get back to what we just came out of. However, there's a couple modelings that I've looked at that really want the heat to build and hold on to September, which would be not too shocking as well. But it's hard to beat a pattern that doesn't want to change dramatically too quickly. So we'll see how that plays out. But at least I know for the next 10 days, that looks to be the storyline. All right, what questions can I answer for you all about that entire setup? Good night for chili, Dan says. For Tuesday night, yeah, I think so. Or good day for chili too. But I think you could do a pot of chili. I'm telling you, you will feel kind of that fall vibe with the gusty wind and temperatures in 70s. I mean, it's going to be a nice little change. Your AC is going to get a break. So I love it. Karen, do you feel that your dogs? I notice your dog's feeling anxious before a big rain. Mine are okay with rain. Mine do not like thunder. And this morning, Dobie had to be in the shower, not in the shower with me, but he had to be in the bathroom while I was taking a shower because he was too afraid to be by himself, which is fine. He's got a little mat. He stays on. He just felt safe that way. I think all dogs are kind of that way, though, but certainly Dobie is. He's definitely the baby. Dandy is okay. He can handle it. He's the big brother, but Dobie's the baby. All right. Everyone looks good. Thanks for the rain totals, by the way. I appreciate that. That helps. We're going to get a grand total on rain totals for this is all said and done from you guys. But I think thank you, Marianne, for that report. Memphis, Indiana, they're of a half inch. I think that really does help. Jacob, typical hot human weather at the state fair. We joke about it, right? That, state fair time, it's going to be hot. Maybe the fair has some kind of a contract the atmosphere that we don't know about. But yeah, apparently, yeah, this is going to be typical state fair weather, hot and humid on a daily basis. But hey, we have one of the largest air conditioned fairs in the United States. So there are some perks where you have an opportunity to get inside and get away from the heat that other cities and states do not have. So we should count our blessings on that one. 2.1, Bryce, for 2 days. That's 2 days down into E-Town. Thank you, Bryce. Appreciate that. Johnny, flash flooding today. I think we're past, sorry, Mr. Comment, Johnny. I think we're past the point of flash flooding now. This is heading east. These next few cells are going to form. They will produce some heavy rainfall, but they will be moving fairly quick. So I think they're not going to cause too many problems. They're not going to linger too much. It was the idea this MCS was going to move very, very slow. That was a concern, but it's actually moving decently enough that I think we're okay. All right, guys, that's it. That's the storyline. That's not bad. Hopefully tomorrow we can go back to a normal title for the blog for a while, and I have a chance to cover other topics with you all that I haven't had a chance to talk about. Like, what does the fall look like? And what about the first hints of winter that I usually try to share with y'all in the summertime? I have a chance to finally get that data out to you guys in the blogs for the rest of the week here. So make sure to keep checking back in with the blog. It's not just always bad news, I promise. I have good news sometimes to share with you all. So I appreciate you watching as always. We'll see how the rest of the day plays out. Stay close to the forecast today in case we do have more alerts coming out ahead of that front as it moves in. But for right now, the alert day will continue until we get a better handle on that storm coverage for the afternoon, evening hours. All right, guys, I'll see you on midday at 11 o'clock on the flip side.